When people think of black billionaires in America, names like Jay-Z, Oprah Winfrey, or Michael Jordan instantly come to mind. Icons who built empires through music, media, and sports, but there's another group quietly shaping the world, people who don't chase cameras yet build industries that touch millions. Their wealth doesn't scream, it speaks through innovation. Technology, medicine, and vision. Today we're diving deep into the hidden world of black billionaires. You rarely hear about the men and women who turned ideas into global powerhouses and proved that black excellence isn't limited to entertainment or athletics. It thrives in boardrooms, data centers, research, labs, and luxury resorts. This is the story of quiet domination, brilliance, under pressure, and legacy, building that will inspire generations. Coming in first, we start with a woman whose name deserves to be mentioned alongside Oprah and Rihanna, but in her own unique category. Sheila Johnson, a self-made billionaire who built her fortune not on fame, but on fearless vision. Sheila Johnson is often called America's first black female billionaire, yet that title doesn't fully capture what she represents. She is a musician, a media pioneer, a philanthropist, and a powerhouse in hospitality. She began her journey as a co-founder of Black Entertainment Television, better known as BET, in the late 1970s. Television had almost no authentic black voices on air. She and her then husband, Robert Johnson, saw the gap and turned it into an opportunity. With a small team, limited funding, and endless determination, they built a channel that would become a cultural revolution. BET wasn't just TV, it was representation, celebration, and a movement that brought black stories, music, and identity into millions of homes. By 1991, BET became the first black-owned company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and in 2001, Viacom acquired it for nearly $3 billion. When Sheila cashed out, she didn't retire. She reinvented herself. She invested her billion wisely, founding Salamander Hotels and Resorts, a luxury brand that redefined hospitality through culture and community. Her flagship, Salamander Resort in Middleburg, Virginia, is a stunning blend of equestrian elegance and black excellence. It's a place where luxury feels personal and purposeful. She also bought the famous Innisbrook Golf Resort in Florida and expanded her portfolio across the country. But Sheila didn't stop at hospitality. She became a minority owner of 3 major sports teams: the Washington Wizards, the Washington Capitals, and the Washington Mystics, becoming the only black woman to hold ownership stakes across NBA, NHL, and WNBA franchises. Beyond business, Sheila remains deeply rooted in education and philanthropy. She created the Sheila C. Johnson Center for Clinical Services and supports countless cultural projects. Through her violin performances and arts programs, her life proves that power isn't about being the loudest, it's about impact, influence, and integrity. Sheila Johnson turned creativity into capital and capital into community. Her story is proof that black wealth can wear many faces, from violins to venture deals. Next, we move to a man whose success story began not in America, but thousands of miles away in Lagos, Nigeria, and whose frustration became a billion-dollar innovation. Tope Awotona, founder of Calendly, is one of America's most remarkable tech billionaires. Born into a middle-class family in Lagos, Tope grew up watching his father run small businesses, learning discipline and determination. Tragedy struck when he was just 12. His father was killed during a carjacking, a moment that changed his life forever. Years later, his family moved to Atlanta, searching for safety and opportunity. Tope studied business at the University of Georgia, then worked in software sales for companies like IBM and Dell, but deep down he wanted to build something of his own. After a few failed startups, including one selling garden tools, he stumbled upon his billion-dollar idea out of sheer frustration. Scheduling meetings was eating up hours of his week, endless back and forth emails just to find a time that worked. He thought there had to be a smarter way, so in 2013, he bet everything on himself, pouring his life savings of $200,000 into building Calendly, hiring developers in Ukraine, and bootstrapping every step of the way. He maxed out his credit cards, took no investors, and focused on making the product simple, fast, and delightful. His vision paid off. The tools spread like wildfire through word-of-mouth. Professionals from every industry started using Calendly to schedule calls, demos, and interviews effortlessly. By 2021, Calendly had over 10 million users and secured a $3 $150 million investment valuing the company at $3 billion. Tope's majority ownership made him one of the few black tech billionaires in America. His story is a reminder that frustration can fuel innovation and that sometimes the simplest ideas change the world. Quietly, Tope Awotona doesn't appear on flashy magazine covers. He stays focused on product, people, and purpose. His empire was built one meeting at a time. Next, we turn to a story that bridges science and business. A doctor who transformed his understanding of the human brain into a pharmaceutical fortune. Dr. Herriot Tabuteau, born in Haiti and raised in Brooklyn, embodies the immigrant dream, arriving in America at 13. He barely spoke English, but his drive was unstoppable. He studied relentlessly, eventually earning his medical degree from Yale University while working night security shifts to pay tuition. His early research focused on epilepsy and brain disorders, but he wasn't content with just practicing medicine. He saw gaps in treatment options for millions suffering from depression, migraines, and Alzheimer's. Agitation conditions Big Pharma often ignored because they were too complex or unprofitable. So in 2012, Dr. Tabuteau took a leap of faith. He founded Axum Therapeutics with little more than his savings, 3 maxed out credit cards, and an unshakable belief that he could do better. His approach was bold: accelerate development, reduce risks, and focus on the brain's most underserved conditions. His breakthrough came with Access 05, a new antidepressant that worked faster and more effectively than traditional drugs. Patients began feeling relief within a week compared to months for standard largest reatments. The medical world took notice. Axum's stock skyrocketed from $6 to $90 within a year, transforming Dr. Tabuteau into a billionaire inventor with more than 200 patents under his name. His leadership turned Axum into a $5 billion company that continues to pioneer brain health treatments. Despite his immense success, Dr. Tabuteau remains humble, rarely giving interviews, choosing instead to let his science speak. His journey from a Haitian immigrant to a neuroscience mogul is a testament to persistence and purpose. And if you're inspired already, there's more ahead. The next name on our list shook Wall Street, redefined private equity, and changed the conversation about black wealth forever. His name is Robert F. Smith, and he is not only one of the richest black Americans, but also one of the most generous. Robert grew up in Denver, Colorado, in a family of educators who valued learning above everything. His parents encouraged curiosity and resilience from a young age. After studying chemical engineering at Cornell and earning 2 patents, he realized his passion extended beyond labs. He wanted to understand money and systems, so he pursued an MBA from Columbia Business School, joining Goldman Sachs in the 1990s at a time when technology deals were just taking off. His analytical mind and tech background gave him an edge. He helped structure billion-dollar mergers for Apple and IBM, learning how to merge innovation with finance. In 2000, he made a daring move, leaving Goldman to start his own private equity firm, Vista Equity Partners. While others chased consumer tech, Robert saw hidden gold in enterprise software, the kind of programs that run businesses, banks, and governments. Most investors ignored it because it wasn't glamorous, but Robert recognized stability and recurring revenue. He built a disciplined model, acquiring undervalued software companies, improving their operations, and selling them for massive profits year after year. Vista delivered extraordinary returns and grew into a financial powerhouse with more than $100 billion under management. Robert's personal fortune soared past $10 billion, making him the richest black billionaire in America for several years. But what sets him apart is his impact. In 2019, he shocked the nation by announcing during a commencement speech at Morehouse College that he would pay off the student loans for the entire graduating class, a gift worth $34 million. He called it liberation capital, wealth used to set others free through his Student Freedom initiative. He continues to support historically black colleges and universities, providing funding and opportunity for thousands. Robert Smith's journey from engineer to finance icon shows that understanding value systems and people can create wealth that changes lives. His quiet brilliance proves that legacy matters more than limelight, and his success paved the way for countless black investors to follow. If you think these stories are powerful, wait until you meet the final figure on our list, the man who built the largest black-owned business in America, and yet remains almost invisible to the public. Now let's talk about the man who quietly became America's richest black billionaire without a single hit song or TV show. His name is David Stewart, the founder and chairman of Worldwide Technology, and his story might be the most astonishing of them all. Stewart's journey began in the small, segregated town of Clinton, Missouri, where he grew up in a world that constantly reminded him of what he couldn't do. His father worked multiple jobs: mechanic, janitor, trash collector. While his mother emphasized faith and education from a young age, David knew that if he wanted more, he'd have to outwork everyone around him. After earning a degree in business from Central Missouri State University in 1973, he started his career in sales with Fortune 500 companies like FedEx and W.R. Grace. He quickly earned awards for his unmatched persistence, often saying he would out-hustle, and out-care any competitor, but ambition has a price. In the early years, he faced rejection after rejection, including moments when potential clients refused to shake his hand because of his race. Yet he kept pushing. In 1990, with barely any capital and a few trusted employees, he founded Worldwide Technology, a small company selling computer hardware and software solutions from a modest office in St. Louis. While others chased quick profits, David focused on relationships, integrity, and long-term contracts. His biggest breakthrough came when he mastered the complex world of government procurement. While Silicon Valley obsessed over consumer tech, David looked at the infrastructure behind it, the routers, servers, and systems that powered entire institutions. He understood that governments and large corporations needed reliability, not flash, and that insight changed everything. By the late 1990s, WWT was handling contracts for the U.S. military and major corporations. By the early 2000s, it was quietly becoming indispensable. When the dot-com bubble burst, David's company didn't crash, it soared, because his revenue came from steady government and enterprise clients, not hype today. Worldwide Technology is a global powerhouse, designing cloud systems, cybersecurity frameworks, and digital architecture for more than 70% of Fortune 100 companies, with annual revenue exceeding $20 billion and thousands of employees. Worldwide, it is officially the largest African-American-owned business in the United States. David Stewart owns the majority stake, giving him a net worth estimated at over $11 billion. Despite this enormous success, he remains humble, dressing simply, speaking softly, and crediting his faith for every victory. His philosophy is simple: excellence, service, and community. He often says, "Our goal isn't just to build technology, it's to build people." He invests heavily in workforce training, mentorship, and minority-owned suppliers, creating ripple effects of wealth beyond his company walls. David also founded the Stewardship Foundation, which funds educational programs, youth leadership, and global humanitarian work. In many ways, his life mirrors the very system he built from scratch: strong, secure, and built to last. While others chase headlines, he builds legacies. His journey reminds us that the true measure of success isn't how loud your story is, but how many lives it uplifts through opportunity and access. Together, these 5 stories, Sheila Johnson, Tope Awotona, Herriot Tabuteau, Robert Smith, and David Stewart, paint a different picture of black wealth in America. They prove that black excellence thrives, not just in entertainment, but in enterprise, not just on stages, but in strategy, rooms across media, technology, science, finance, and infrastructure. These pioneers are proof that innovation has no color and determination has no ceiling. Think about it. Sheila turned culture into capital. Tope turned frustration into functionality. Herriot turned neuroscience into next generation medicine. Robert turned data into billions, and David turned trust into technology. Each one faced barriers that could have broken them, yet they turned adversity into advantage and silence into strength. They didn't inherit fortune. They engineered it brick by brick, deal by deal, and idea by idea. They show us that black wealth is no longer a headline. It's a framework, a blueprint for generations to follow. Their stories matter because representation matters. Every time a young entrepreneur watches these journeys, they see possibility reflected back at them. They learn that their ideas can be funded, their companies can be scaled, their innovations can be global. Wealth isn't just money. It's mindset, and that mindset is shifting the narrative of what success looks like in America. So the next time someone tells you black billionaires only come from music or sports, remember these names. Remember the innovators who built empires, quietly while rewriting the rules of business. If this story inspired, you hit that subscribe button because we're just scratching the surface. There are dozens more. Hidden moguls changing the world one breakthrough at a time, and in a world obsessed with followers, fame, and flash, it's refreshing to see power built on purpose. These are not overnight success stories. They're decades of vision, persistence, and faith, and that's what makes them truly remarkable. The lesson here is simple. You don't need to be famous to be legendary. You just need the courage to build when no one is watching and the discipline to keep going when everyone doubts you, because that's how billionaires are made, not in headlines, but in hard work, the unseen, the uncelebrated, the unstoppable. That's the real power of Black excellence in America today and always.